Hey guys, Christopher Comic Book University and Odyssey of the Amazons, issue number 6 of 6. It's over, and in many ways, it's finally over. Is anybody else reviewing this online? I actually just now thought that I should check that, and I don't feel like doing that now, because it's live for me. Many comics have a problem with, like series, have a problem with drawing things out and then rushing the ending. That's not really the case here. I don't think that they necessarily rushed the ending on this, but I think that most of us can agree that the story itself was drawn out a lot longer than it necessarily needed to be, since there wasn't nearly as much action as you'd think. Or at least they didn't give proper credence to the action. Throughout the series, you see they meet the Valkyrie, which was finally in issue 3, I think it was. And what did they actually do? The very last page of issue 2. But, you get what I'm saying. It took all the time to get to that. And then they had the thing with the Valkyrie, and then they were hunted by the Valkyrie, and then they became gladiators with the Valkyrie, with the Einheidenrar. And then they went to, it was just, I don't know, it all kind of made sense. Look, I know, I'm kind of all over the place, and I apologize for that, guys. I genuinely do. Look, this comic was kind of all over the place. This series was as such. Basically what happens in this issue is, of course, it's resolved. Hessia goes forward, and she's able to, well, first, there's Narcissa, and she sees that Groa, the Jotun female who made the hybrids out of Amazon and Jotun. She's got the power. She's got the sword, the black sword of Surtur, and she's bigger than she's ever been, and she's about ready to kill everybody. It turns out that the hybrids actually weren't going to be able to survive anyway because their blood wasn't compatible. You'd figure that somehow, with all that magical ritual and it's not my comic, it's their comic, all the rape that was going on and all that crazy stuff. Look, no, you'd figure they would at least check blood types. I'm just saying maybe they're wearing the little wrist thing, or it's on their phone. They go to check the phone. It's like, oh, this person is, type O negative. Interesting. And I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a really weird thing. So anyway, those things all fall apart. And the one Amazonian, Narcissa, she charges forward knowing she's going to get smothered in flame. And she does. She's destroyed. And that leaves an opening for Hessia to charge forward and throw her glaive thing and kill Groa. And even before that happened, there was actually a mutiny by some of the other Jotun, and that didn't work out very well for it. It worked for maybe 3 panels. That was it. And it was kind of pointless even having it there. And that's kind of the moral of this story. There was a lot of pointless things that happened. It didn't advance the story anymore. It didn't explain the story better. It didn't lead to anything. It was just a lot of really pointless stuff. Eventually, when Groa gets destroyed because Hessia grabs the sword, she picks up the sword that's way too big for her. It's kind of interesting that she and the other Amazons are more powerful now because they did die and go to Valhalla and fight, but, that's whatever. So she grabs the sword, and then she becomes not a Jotun, but she becomes giant-sized herself. Now, you want to talk about more funny stuff. She beats Surtur. After she beats Surtur, he's just a total pushover in this. It's ridiculous. But after that, all of a sudden Frigga shows up, and then Athena shows up, and all these different, the gods from both sides, the goddesses from both sides show up, and they're just okay, you have to stop. You can't cut off his head. You can't kill him because, these are the ways of the Norns and the Fates. And as it turns out, the Norns and the Fates are actually the same in both religions. And yeah, wow, that's so impressive. But anyway, so they say you can't do this because, and she's like, well, but I have to do it because if I do, then we're not bound by the fate anymore. No, there are things that we understand that you mortals don't understand. And she's like, shut up. She cuts off Surtur's head and says, so much for destiny. And, everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So for no reason whatsoever, Thor shows up and he's like, you will yield the sword. And she says, man, I'll kick your butt. And Thor says, woman, you do not know what you're about to get into. And she's like, bring it on, kill me or not. We're going to, whatever. So he starts screaming. She gets ready and grits her teeth. And he just stops at the last point. He's like, let her keep the sword. Literally, he's not like he was just yelling in the previous panel. And now he's just like, whatever. Let her keep the sword. We're all warriors and our only purpose is to, live to fight and die and blah, blah, blah. And then like one of those little like threads for like, to represent the thread of destiny. It looks more like, when you were a kid and you had the kite string and you had like the little reel. It looks like more like one of those. So Hessia turns back to normal size, but she keeps the sword. Who the heck knows what happened to the sword? Nobody knows what happened to the sword. On top of that, she's changed mythology, which is interesting. And yeah, listen, here's what I'm suggesting. I say you take Thor from, the actual Marvel comics, all right? You take Hessia, you take Wonder Woman, and let them actually get into a battle with each other, all right? I say let's have some fun with it. I know that DC fans are going to say that, Wonder Woman would win. The Marvel fans will be like, no way, Thor's going to win. The comic book fans are just going to sit back and eat the popcorn and forget about the fight and just watch the comment section because these morons just don't know when to shut up. So anyway, they go on and they talk really briefly about when the prophesized one comes. And of course, they show Wonder Woman. I mean, the entire time they've been talking about the prophesized one, I'm sorry, did anyone here not know that they were talking about Wonder Woman? And now they finally show, oh, it was actually Wonder Woman we were talking about the whole time. Guys, welcome to the land of drolldom. And what does drolldom start with? A D. Yeah, I'm giving this a D. This didn't go anywhere. This didn't teach us anything. Who are these people? Where is this black sword? Where is all this stuff in the mythology? At least if they would have taken stuff that actually was in the mythology. And there was stuff in the mythology. Hell, you could have taken stuff from the freaking movie and just said, oh, the God Killer sword. You could have taken anything from the actual impressive, very lengthy story of Wonder Woman, and just, it wouldn't have even had to been shoehorned in. You could have just changed some names, and boom, there you go. But they didn't do that. No, instead, they're just like, whatever. Why should we think about it? Let's just put in this story. I'm sorry, guys. Look, the art was beautiful. There was a bunch of really silly things in here, and a whole bunch of really cool things in here, and just things that just didn't need to be. Things that they just didn't make any sense. Why were those dogs in the beginning? Oh, because they were going to rush them to the battle where everybody was like sleeping and stuff. And why was the one Valkyrie in the last issue held for the past 5 issues in that cage with a twig? Was that resolved? I don't believe it was. Why did all these things happen in here? Oh, I guess we should just let it be because it is what it is. Yeah, no, sorry. I'd rather not. This comic just didn't do it for me. And you know what? Like, some people can be really upset at my grading of this. But you know what? I went out and I bought all 6 issues and I read all 6 issues and I genuinely gave it my best. And you look at how excited I was in the first issue and you look at how disappointed I am now. You don't like my review, buddy. Go on. Literally, just go on with yourself, man, because this could have been a whole lot better. I don't think it would have been hard at all to make this a whole lot better. And it wasn't, for whatever reason. Oh, well. Anyway, guys, I know that you don't like to hear negative reviews. Well, guess what? I like reading bad comics even less. So anyway, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.